Hey, welcome back. Today, we're diving into something called the associative mind, which is really a way of thinking that lets you see all these connections that are, well, pretty much hidden from everyone else. If you've ever had that feeling that your brain is just wired a little differently, stick around. You're about to find out why that might actually be your greatest strength.
So let me ask you this. Has anyone ever looked at you with that kind of confused look on their face and said, "You're just overthinking this"? It's one of those comments that can feel, I don't know, really dismissive, right? Like you're just making up problems that aren't there.
But here's the thing. What if that label is just completely wrong? What if what you're doing isn't overthinking at all? What if it's actually a sign of something way more powerful, a form of deep thinking that sees the world in like a much higher resolution?
Okay, so let's really get into this because I think it's time we completely reframe this whole conversation. We're going to give this experience a proper name and actually understand what's going on under the hood.
So the term we're actually looking for is associative integration. Now, I know it sounds a little fancy, but it's a specific cognitive trait. All it means is that your brain is basically built to constantly link ideas from totally different areas, even stuff that seems completely unrelated, and from that, you create these brand new, unique insights. Think of it this way. It's not a bug in your system, it's a built-in feature of your mind.
And this is such an important distinction to make. You see, overthinking, that tends to be anxious, repetitive. It gets you stuck in these useless loops that just go nowhere. But associative integration, that's the complete opposite. It's insightful. It's about connecting things. It's this creative, generative process that actually builds new ideas instead of just spiraling. So, how does your brain actually do this? What's the engine that's driving this incredible ability to connect all these different ideas? Let's take a look at the actual cognitive machinery behind it all.
You're probably sitting there thinking, okay, this sounds cool and all, but what's the actual science here? Isn't this just a nice way of dressing up anxiety? And the answer to that is a hard no. And the reason why is actually pretty fascinating. Turns out, this way of thinking is really rooted in two key cognitive strengths. First, you have a much stronger working memory. You can think of it like having way more RAM in your brain's computer. It lets you hold and juggle a bunch of complex ideas all at the same time. And second, you've got advanced abstract reasoning. Now that's the engine that finds the hidden patterns and the underlying principles that connect all that information, even when it just looks like random noise to other people. So, what happens when you take that high-capacity working memory and you combine it with this super advanced pattern recognition? Well, you get something that honestly feels a bit like a hidden superpower. Let's dig into the incredible upside of all this deep thinking.
The result of all this high-speed mental processing is a state we can call hyper-awareness. And this is way more than just being observant. It's this elevated state of perception where you're not just seeing the individual objects in the world, you're actually sensing the invisible web of connections that ties it all together.
So in the real world, what does that actually look like? Well, it means you're the person who links concepts that seem totally separate to everyone else. It means you can often just sense the hidden intentions in a conversation. You pick up on all the subtext. And you're probably incredibly good at noticing those tiny, subtle shifts in the mood of a room, sometimes even before the people in it are aware of it themselves. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the whole experience. You see the connections long before others even notice the dots. For you, the pattern is just there. It's obvious. But for so many others, the individual data points, the dots, haven't even registered yet. All right, so let's bring all of this home. How do we take this new understanding and actually apply it? It really comes down to a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. It's about turning what you might have once thought was a flaw into your single greatest asset. So, if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. Your associative mind, the mind that sees patterns everywhere, that feels things deeply, that thinks in these complex ways, it isn't a bug that needs to be fixed. It is 100% a feature. It's exactly how your mind was designed to operate. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have a new name for this, a whole new framework for understanding your mind, what are you going to do with it? What new, brilliant, incredible connections are you finally going to give yourself permission to see?